What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. We back in these streets. We stay in these streets. We stay in these work streets. You don't work, you ain't getting paid. Today is the last day of tax season. Filed them taxes because I did mine, and boy, I hate tax season when it comes. Let me tell you. And also, today is my son's 24th birthday, Jamon Josiah Yates. Shout out to you, dog. I love you for life. You're a young king. You're doing it. You're doing so good. I love you. Shout out to you and your beautiful girlfriend. I love y'all both. I'm just happy for you, and I just want to give you a huge birthday shout out today. Jamon Josiah Yates, Big Game James' son, them Yates boys. You know how we do. So I love you, dog. I just want to tell you that. But I just want to jump on here right quick and talk about, I had brought up this probably about 3 or 4 videos ago where they were talking about Tyreek Hill tweeting bye-bye and how he's becoming a nuisance on Twitter and how he's always doing the back and forth, saying he's going to be here, saying he want to stay here, then he say he want to leave. And Mike McDaniel say, that's what Tyreek does. He's always on Twitter, blah, 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 blah. But now it's out in the streets that the Miami Dolphins are mutually looking to trade Jalen Ramsey from the Miami Dolphins. More so than Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill will probably most likely be there unless they come with a really sweet offer. Because me personally, I think the Miami Dolphins are headed to what the Dallas Cowboys are headed to, or what they did last year. If you listen to my Twitter, I said the Miami Dolphins are the Dallas Cowboys, the AFC East. A supremely talented team, have talent across the boards, but they can't never get over the hump. It's always something going on with either the top of the organization, the coaches, the players. They have talent, and they've had talent with Tua, Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill. They got talent, but they just, whenever they play top teams, they don't win. So they have all that talent, but whenever they play the top teams, they can't never beat them. But when they play regular teams, they beat those teams. Sounds like the Dallas Cowboys to me. And now they're going through what the Dallas Cowboys went through last year. I believe Mike McDaniel is getting fired after this year. I believe this is his lame duck season, and they're going to start getting rid of everybody and start doing a rebuild. They were trying to do a rebuild, and I don't know what happened with it, but that rebuild is not working. But they're going to go in full rebuild mode because Mike McDaniel is going to get fired, and they're going to move on from him, and it's going to be a lame duck season for Miami. So my question to all the Dallas Cowboys fans out there: with Jalen Ramsey and the Dallas Cowboys having a need at cornerback, should the Dallas Cowboys trade for Jalen Ramsey? I believe he's got 25. They signed him to an extension to 2028, and I believe he's guaranteed $25 million this year. So with him being 30 years old, he's got a Super Bowl pedigree. You know what he does. Would y'all want to trade for Jalen Ramsey? Now, here's the thing with me. Jalen Ramsey is supremely talented. He'll instantly upgrade that defense at the cornerback spot. My thing is, we talked Sunday about Trevin Diggs. I don't feel like Trevin Diggs. I feel like this might be Trevin Diggs last year. I feel like they're going to move on from him. He's not going to be here. Definitely not. If he makes it past this year, he definitely, I feel, won't be here next year. I just have that feeling. So, would you dangle a Trevin Diggs to Miami? He's younger. I think he's like 3 years younger. I know he has the bad knee, but would you dangle him and maybe a draft pick? Me personally, I'm not giving anything higher than a 5th. You don't have a 4th. I would give up that 4th, but you gave it up for Mingo. I ain't giving no draft pick 1, 2, 3 for Jalen Ramsey. Just me, because you need that pick. And I don't know how long Jalen Ramsey will be effective for you. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I told you we in these streets, we in these work streets. So, just like I said, I wouldn't give up anything 1, 2, 3 or for Jalen Ramsey, just not me. I would dangle a Trevin Diggs and see what Miami else is talking. But I wouldn't go beyond that for me. And I put something in the very beginning of this video. I want you to read it, where it's from the Miami Herald, and they're talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey. And it's very kind of poignant because as talented they are, it says in the Herald, as talented they are, it seems like the organizations both moved on from them and they still kept winning. They moved on from Tyreek Hill, went back to the Super Bowl. Rams moved on from Jalen Ramsey, they still go right back to the playoffs. So extremely talented as they are, they help your team in the winning mode. Just because you have talent doesn't mean that's going to equate to wins. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm looking at is that the off field. Dallas doesn't have the strongest locker room. We know that. We've seen them having problems in the locker room and the culture. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey are not, in my opinion, going to be good assets to the culture of the Dallas Cowboys. I think they would just be divisive to the culture. I don't think, if you're trying to really build a culture in Dallas, I'm not saying no to them, but I'm just saying that they're not going to be, in my opinion, leaders in the locker room. They're going to have talent, but they're not the guys that you would be looking for on the leadership column. So I think that was the only thing I would be worried about as well, is how would they come in as far as leaders in the locker room? How would they come in as far as the room itself? Would they uplift the room, or would they bring the room down? In my opinion, they're not going to uplift the room. It would bring the room down because of their attitudes, not the talent, their attitudes. I'm asking y'all, I think you would have to pay Tyreek Hill $27 million. Dallas has, I think, $38 million available right now. They would have to take over Tyreek's contract, and I think they would have to pay him at least $27 million. I think they had a trade scenario. I believe Miami would get Dallas's second, and Dallas would get Tyreek Hill and then Miami's third next year. I think that's what it was. And they said, who wouldn't do it? I would. But at the same time, the locker room, that's what I worry about. But if we're really, really, really talking about this, I don't think Dallas would even trade for a Jalen Ramsey or a Tyreek Hill, just because they don't like bringing in guys from the outside. They definitely don't like paying big money. The last trade you had was 2018 with Amari Cooper, and that's because they were in desperation mode from 2017 and 2018. They were doing terrible. Then in desperation mode, they made the trade for Amari Cooper. That was 2018. That was 7 years ago. I'm sorry, I don't think Stephen Jones has the nuts to trade for a Jalen Ramsey or a Tyreek Hill, especially when they love the homegrown talent, especially because they don't like paying big contracts, and especially when they're getting guys of that nature. I don't see them jumping out there and being like, oh, let's make this happen. I feel like they would just draft, continue to go. They're going to look at, well, we just traded for Elam, so we're going to see what he is. Receivers, we just got Mingo. We're high up in the draft. We can draft a receiver. We got a former first rounder. We still have, our guys in the fold, and we like them because I heard Stephen Jones say that. So in my opinion, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys would even jump at something like this, Tyreek or Jalen Ramsey, even though those are two positions that they need on both sides of the ball. But once again, off field, I don't know if that locker room is strong enough to deal with them two personalities. Second, I don't think Stephen Jones got the nuts to trade a pick and take on that salary from Jalen Ramsey or a Tyreek Hill. And I just feel like they're satisfied, like you said, with our guys. And he loves the guys they have because they're young, unproven, and they're cheap. And Jalen Ramsey or Tyreek Hill does not fit that bill as far as the Dallas Cowboys. So for me, I would love to try to see what you could do with that. But in all reality, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys ain't even touching that, and it's just a moot point. But I thought I'd bring it out there to you guys to see, would you want a Tyreek Hill? Would you want a Jalen Ramsey? Or would you just say, hey, let's just go ahead and go on the draft and see what happens there? Let me get your thoughts on it and your opinions on this Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill thing. And y'all let me know in the comments. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey. Would you make the bold trade for it? Would you take on that salary? Would you give up a draft pick? What would y'all do? Me, I personally would consider a Tyreek Hill, a Jalen Ramsey. I would consider it, but it would just see how much what would the Miami Dolphins want in return? And boy, you just want them guys, Brian Schottenheimer, to really be strong in that locker room, because I don't know if that locker room could deal with a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Ramsey, especially if they weren't getting the ball, especially if Dallas and them weren't winning. Would you start seeing that nasty side of Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill? I believe you would. So the talent I would love to take, but I don't know if Dallas is strong enough to deal with them personalities, just me. So I would think that it ain't going to happen. But what y'all think? Would you do it? Let me know. Big Game James, I'm out. Peace.